Breckenridge for discussion of the matter.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. May I speak on the bill?
Yes, sir.
It seems like a couple of years ago I was standing on this same floor and we had this discussion about pari-mutuel wagering, that we were not actually expanding gaming, we were just going to legalize what was already taking place. And today I heard that same argument made, that we're not actually expanding gaming, we're legalizing what is taking place, which from my standpoint, from a principle standpoint of where I stand, that is the legalizing of expanded gaming. And that is exactly what we are doing here today. I have, since I've been in this legislature, I have been adamantly against any type of expansion of gaming for several reasons. But one thing that I would point out is that a lot of times when we have discussions around gambling and gaming, it's always about revenue, the increased revenue that we will receive as a state. And this is what I truly believe, that anytime that we do that, that is an irresponsible way to drive revenue in our state. When you have to lose money to gain money, that is an irresponsible way to drive revenue in our state. And so the truth is, the fact is, we want, as a whole, people want more gambling and gaming in this state. It's not necessarily just about the revenue. It's about the ability to be able to do it. We get compared to other states. We get compared to things that they do and things that they don't do. And I've always been of the argument, Mr. Speaker, that we take the good and leave the bad, and this is just one of those things that, as a principle, I've stood upon when I campaigned. I told the people that I campaigned in front of that this was somewhere that I would never go as a legislator, and I intend to keep that promise that I made to the people that I spoke to. With that being said, I do believe that this bill is going to move forward, and with that moving forward of this bill, I think it is important that we have as many safeguards as possible as we can. And so with that being said, Mr. Speaker, I would ask that the clerk would report House Floor Amendment 2.
Clerk, please report.
House Floor Amendment 2 to House Bill 551.
Gentleman Breckenridge.
House Floor Amendment 2 basically does one thing. It basically just says that in this process of this expanding of legalized gaming, that a person cannot use a credit card to be able to do this. We as a state, we have actually put together a fund to help people that are addicted to this thing that we have made legal in our state. So there's a fund that says if you get addicted to this particular thing, call this number. We'll actually provide money to try to help you with your addiction. And so I think it's very important, very prudent, that we as a legislature protect people. If they are going to use a debit card, that's money they have. If they're going to use ACH, that's money they have. If they're going to use cash, that's money they have. But we know for a fact that people that do not have this money are going to waste what they have, and they will drive up credit card debt if we leave this option in here. So House Floor Amendment 2 removes the ability to use a credit card in regard to this law. And Mr. Speaker, I move for the adoption of House Floor Amendment 2. May I continue to speak on the bill?
Yes, sir.
The second thing that I really wanted to point out, and we had a discussion on this floor just this past week and some into this week about predatory gaming that has taken place in Kentucky, and how important it was that we made sure that we get these machines out of these convenience stores, because our children have the ability to go in there and possibly get on these machines, and we have to make sure that we stop these people from, preying on our children in regard to this issue. And I had looked at an amendment and thought about looking at making this to where at least it has to be done in person, because we know that on these devices that we all have access to, our children have access to them, and they are far better at circumventing things than we are. And I spoke with the gentleman, and he told me that there are a lot of safeguards that are put in place, but I do know exactly what's going to happen, that children are going to be they're going to be exposed to this, and they have the ability to do that. I wasn't able to put that together, but I did put another amendment together, House Floor Amendment 3. And basically what this amendment does is it moves the age of the ability to be able to do this type of gaming from 18 to 21. I feel like it's important to be able to do this for a couple reasons. And if you think about all of the different types of addictions in our state, things that we have legalized, you have to be 21 to buy cigarettes because they're addictive. You have to be 21 to buy alcohol because it's addictive. And so we have kind of set a standard that if something has an addictive nature about it, we wanted to make sure that at least somebody had to be 21 before that they could engage in that particular thing. And so I thought it was important to bring this amendment. And Mr. Speaker, if you could have the clerk report House Floor Amendment 3.
Clerk, please report.
House Floor Amendment 3 to House Bill 551.
Gentleman from Breckenridge.
Mr. Speaker, I would move for the adoption of House Floor Amendment 3, and I'd like to request a roll call vote on that.